So the story begins in 1978 when I was a hi-fi journalist and visiting my editor in London, and he had a new prototype speaker from Mission that really had us bouncing around the room. I mean, it was so much fun, I couldn't believe it. And this, at the time, was a revelation because so many loudspeakers were designed largely by measurement and a little bit by listening. And here was a speaker that at last was designed mainly by listening with a little bit of measurement. So when it came to the 45th anniversary of Mission, and we started thinking about what we were going to do to celebrate this event, then I really wanted to do the 770. A, because I wanted to find out what really made those original speakers sing, and I still have a pair of the original Mark I's. And two, because I knew that if we could bring that amount of fun back into music again for the current technology that we have, you know, our digital sources stretching the boundaries of the power extremes at the frequency extremes, then we could do something really that was capturing the magic of the original. So this has been a labor of love for me. Very much a product which reflects the styling of the original and also reflects some of the technology of the original. So the original 770 was one of the first commercial loudspeakers to use a polypropylene drive unit. And polypropylene had that lovely Lucid mid-range quality that we were determined to carry over to the new 770. In this case, we strengthened it up with some mineral filling to the polypropylene just to make the cone a little more rigid, a little bit better behaved. We still use a low-loss nitrile surround in order to terminate the cone to give us that wonderful mid-range, and also a copper cap in the pole piece so that we not only reduce distortion but extend the frequency bandwidth, because that again was part of the original, was a very, very wide bandwidth from the base mid-range unit. In this case we have a 28mm fabric dome, but this is very special also because it has a rear chamber which reduces the resonant frequency way below the crossover region. So again, we're extending the bandwidth of the drivers. And that means that I can accurately map the acoustic crossover between the two to reflect what was used in the original. Now, I'm used to using normal networks like Acoustic Butterworth or Linkritz-Riley, but when I investigated the original, I found out that it was actually using something which was closer to what we call a flat delay crossover performance, and that I incorporated in the new product. So that was that which gave us the magic. It's that which makes this a completely coherent loudspeaker. Down below we have a front port just like the original, but again this is very special. This has very, very heavy flaring on it so as to reduce distortion with the air moving out, but also very heavy flaring on the inside. And there's also a baffle on the inside to mimic that of the outside, because air moves both ways, both in and out the cabinet. So we wanted it to be linear in terms of its performance. And that extends the bass of this speaker, unusually for a stand mount, down below 30 Hertz in room, which is quite extraordinary. It's also an 8-ohm loudspeaker. This is also very unusual in today's age when nearly everything is 4 ohms. The nice thing about 8-ohm loudspeakers is that they enable any amplifier to drive them. Even tube valve amps can drive this speaker really easily. 88 dB sensitivity for 1 watt, so it will match any amplifier you want to put it with. The original enclosure for the 770 in 1978 was modeled along the lines of the research done by the BBC, which was to use a thin wall cabinet damped by heavy bitumen pads on the inside. In this case, we've taken it further. We are now using a sandwich of chipboard and MDF on the outside with a damping layer in between. So we have constrained layer damping, which gives a very inert cabinet indeed. And to go with the speaker, we've also designed stands which match it perfectly. These stands are very torsionally rigid. They support the speaker, hold it still, and also ground it to your floor. So the whole speaker behaves and stand behaves as one. And what I want to really emphasize is this is not a speaker where you hear highs, mids, and bass. This is a speaker which disappears in your room. This is a speaker which makes no noise about its own character whatsoever. It just puts the music in front of you for you to enjoy. It brings back that fun element, that foot tapping element, that wanting to make you dance around the room element that is missing so much from today's hi-fi. And I love it, and I hope you will love it too.